喜欢解谜的我，错，可以考虑。现在我拉一下画面。
Holmes, for heaven's sake, whatever's
哎
going
呦，
on?
Oh, hello, Watson.
那是平
You're
啊吗？
early. Did you kill all of your patients?
What?
哦，是蜜蜂，
Holmes,
我以为是平
where
那里。
have all these wretched bees come from?
I increased the temperature of the room so as to prevent them from hibernating. I needed to take a sample of honey. But it worked, Watson. We will have honey all year round.
福尔摩
Ridiculous and
福尔
dangerous.
摩斯某方面来讲
They're
也是个疯
domestic
子哎。
bees, Apis mellifera, such industrious workers. Anyway, Watson, I am sorry, but I must leave you. I'm in rather a hurry.
You have a new case?
Yes, but nothing as thrilling as this experiment. A theft of plants at the Royal Botanic Gardens in Kew. I'm helping a minister who's an old friend of mine. You can join me if you like.
Well, I'll admit that I'd far rather accompany you than remain alone here with these workers of yours. Besides, you'll need a helping hand with the flowers you're intending to bring back.
Watson, however did you
Watson.
guess?
For the great Sherlock Holmes to bother with the theft of plants. Come on, admit that you're planning to spoil your little bees with some rare pollens.
一般人也不会想要把蜜蜂养在家里面吧？
Let us go.
真的是疯子。你们会觉得游戏的声音太小吗？因为我有把你们的拉小一点，那边拉大一点。不会 ，OK。那我的声音会太大吗？还行，还行。这次赌好久。把声音拉小一点好了。又来，又来。刚好 OK， 那就不用调了。事件。
Well, Holmes, here we are at the Royal Botanic Gardens. There's no doubt that this place is beautiful. But are you really intent on investigating the theft of the plants?
Yes, of course.
What are we doing, Holmes?
Let us find someone who could help us.
看就是前面这两个人。试玩教学观还不错。你说逃脱模拟器吗？
Don't touch anything else, is that clear? Just go and get a bucket of fertilizer. And without
哇
turning it over this
北
time. Good
哇
day to
回
you, gentlemen. How may I help you?
赞
If you
哦
are here for a visit, please do come back on Sunday.
I am afraid that it cannot wait. My name is Sherlock Holmes, and this is my friend and colleague, Dr. Watson. We are investigating the theft of plants that took place here 5 days ago. A remarkable collection, I believe.
So you're the one in charge, eh?
A small favor for a friend. Now, to whom do I have the pleasure of speaking?
I am Martin Hamish.
马
I am
丁
the
哈
deputy
明
director of Kew
史，
Gardens. And that fellow yonder is Albert. He works here.
I am delighted to meet you. What can you tell us about the plants?
They were rare and exceptional plants. We presented them at our last exhibition. We haven't removed the stand yet. It is still in the large glass house. We only learned of their
哇
disappearance the
这
evening
是
after
真
the
正的偷
exhibition,
花
and
贼。
nobody saw anything.
No doors were forced?
No, but I would imagine that for a thief it would be fairly easy to gain entry, for there are no guards here.
Well, if you don't mind, we will take a look. Now, you say that it is in the large glass house.
Yes, the one just behind me. Just a second, since Albert has nothing else to do. Albert, show these gentlemen where the exhibition was held.
How many people work here?
Only myself, but occasionally 2 students, Albert, whom you have met, and Miss White.
两个学生跟他，然后没有保全，难怪被偷。 还是他们觉得花不会被偷，所以
Here it is. This
不
is
用
the
那么
place
照
where
顾
the。stolen plants were exhibited.
Thank you. Is there something the matter?
Yes, there is. All right, the plants were valuable and rare, but it seems to me that the tragedy that took place here only 2 days ago has been entirely forgotten already.
What tragedy are you referring to?
The director of Kew Gardens,
Oh.
Mr. Montague Dunn, he died here just 2 days ago.
We're very sorry. We were not aware. The two of you were good friends?
He was my father.
Oh dear. Our condolences.
完了，那刚刚那个人很可疑，
Please do excuse us for the
我先猜是刚刚那个人了。
You say that he died here, in the large glass house.
Holmes?
Yes, just here, near the door to the colonial collection. He suffered a heart attack,
哦，是心脏病。
just like that. So suddenly. It was terrible. Excuse me, gentlemen, but I cannot remain here. If you need me, I'll be in the reserve. That's the room next to the front of the large greenhouse.
Of course, we understand.
What should we do next, Holmes?
Here is a list of the stolen plants.
好多看不懂。
Do not touch.
The plants were here. All of them was stolen.
被偷了。
According to Albert, this is where his father, Montague Dunn, was found dead.
哦，
The traces are thinner in some places. These boot marks are fresh. It appears as though someone was dragging their feet. The footprints reveal that someone staggered here.
但这个植物园如果有人进来参观的话，也不准
The
吧？
door was smashed at shoulder height. This door handle is new. It was recently changed. Soil. It should have come from a flower pot. The soil on the side of this flower shelf is the same as that on the ground. Fragments of a flower pot. It fell down here. This pot was broken fairly recently.
这个
A
你都
flower
知道。
pot recently fell down from these shelves and was
我放
misplaced.
错位置。
The esconsson was breached near the handle. The door was forced from the inside of the colonial collection room. The handle
那一定
was
是自己
changed
人。
afterwards.
I think we need to inspect the colonial collection room.
肯定自己人呢、
This sign is broken. Something heavy was dropped upon it. Someone fell violently against this sign, and they were injured in the clash, most likely a head wound. All the clues around here are quite suspicious. I need my imagination to make sense of it all.
想象力就是你的超能力。我还有这个哦，哦多人。哦，不对，什么意思？我一定是先撞门嘛，然后啊，什么意思？我把门撞开了，不小心拨到，然后去撞到这个门。
This reconstruction reveals a disturbing
真的，
fact.
这边也可以重建呢。
Montague Dunn damaged the
原来
door
在
of the colonial
2014年
collection
就可以
room.
重建了。
He was in a panic, or the door was locked. Was it an accident
难道
or a
福尔
murder?
摩斯是仿生人？
I think we need to inspect the colonial collection room.
这里，是在哪里？
Very strange. Half of the colonial collection is absent. These plants come from all
是
the
这个欸
territories of the British Empire.
这个是什么大丸花，对不对？臭臭花那个，那它在这里不会臭吗？
These windows were perfectly cleaned.
对，而且那个可以长得超
The
大
smell
个
is strong. It is a detergent.
洁剂。哦，某一片的，
This broken fragment was the result of a heavy blow. A fragment of marble, most likely chipped from a statue or sculpture. Part of this greenhouse was emptied and thoroughly cleaned.
诶，
This is one of the outlets of the ventilation system.
我想到那个是不是也可以叫食人花？也是那个吗？还是记错了？还是没有食人花？这里是储藏室吗？储藏室没有。这里还是
According to this, they have light and moisture control in some parts of the building.
好的，
What should we do next, Holmes?
唔知。你问我，我问谁啊？走开！我过不去。OK。哦，这里也可以打开。这里好像没有什么东西。
According to this, they have light and moisture control in some parts of the building.
这个植物园好大，难怪刚刚读取这么久。
Can I help you, gentlemen?
A task list for Albert, compiled by Martin Hamish. Sweep out the palm house,
哇，他
scrub
什么
the
都要做
toilets, clean the storage shed tools.
可是某方面来讲，不是应该哦，他只是经理，所以不太算是他要继承这边。想说他应该可以继承这里，他应该职位要蛮大的啊。这里有一个时代报纸，我们新重组这个线索。哦，只有2个哦。验尸。好，我们先去验尸，我等一下回来再问他们。差点噎到。
I asked Inspector Lestrade to take Montague Dunn's body to Scotland Yard.
It's ready for autopsy then.
这里我熟的。
First of all, let us carry out an external examination. There are no suspicious marks upon the chest. Let us finish our external examination so that we can proceed with the autopsy. There is an injury to the skull,
他
most
的眼睛
probably
还是
caused
张
by
开
a
的。
fall in the water lily greenhouse. The vessels and the pupil of the eye appear quite normal. The air from the lungs carries a faint floral aroma. No redness, stings, or bruises. Nothing suspicious here. Now, let us examine the
等一下，
internal
这样可以
organs.
随便剖的吗？哦，华生是医生。不是，不好意思，这个是怎样？这个这个拿起来，对呀、怎么突然到这里这么玩具？这个拿起来
The
是怎
lungs are
样啊？
congested and edematous.
人体
The
模型
tissue
吗？
on the inferior lobe of the right lung is damaged, most probably caused by toxins from an unknown plant.
而且真的会这样子开一个大洞吗？
The heart's blood vessels show no pathological
所以他不是
signs.
心脏病吗？他应该是想要告诉我这件事情。
The heart tissue shows no visible pathological signs.
装回去。看，这是我们的肝。
The liver is enlarged. It would seem that he was suffering from an alcohol addiction.
跟我们的终身点数长得一样。
The liver tissue is brown. There are no visible pathological signs.
哦，他的胃怎么是绿的？
There is a small amount of content. It appears that he breakfasted lightly, only a short while before his death. The stomach tissues show no visible pathological signs. My suspicions have been substantiated. Montague Dunn, the director of Kew Gardens, died
那我
from
看就是那个大王花
plant
了。
poisoning, to be more exact.
You mean
Yes, it is murder.
we should inform Lestrade?
Yes, but do remember, Watson, that I discovered the murder. The challenge is mine.
The challenge, Holmes?
We need to locate that deadly plant. Such a perfect murder appeals to me.
Murder of any kind appeals to you. Is that all we need to do?
No, we also have the people working at Kew Gardens. Martin Hamish and the son of the victim.
他迷死，我已经先把
And
嫌疑
also
人
Miss White, of whom we spoke with Mr.
围在
Hamish.
他了。
Should we bring them all here for interrogation?
No, a few innocuous questions at Kew will suffice, as well as a discreet delve into their personal affairs. Yes, Watson, it is time now to open the doors.
Even those in the staff building? I suppose that is necessary.
We should also be concerned with the victim himself. After all, we don't know very much about Montague Dunn.
You're enjoying this already, aren't you?
More than a little.
OK， 带回去。那儿子如果知道他爸这样子的话，就被挖一个大洞，不知道怎么想。哦，刚才那个门突然关起来了，快点冲过去看。
Mr. Hamish, can you explain to us what happened to the colonial collection? It seems somewhat depleted.
But, oh, most likely maintenance work, tidying up.
You're not sure, then? But you're the deputy director.
Well, I am busy. I cannot be everywhere at once.
Albert told us about the tragic death of Mr. Dunn, the late director of Kew Gardens.
Tragic indeed. His heart attack was quite unexpected.
As deputy director, how was your relationship with Montague Dunn?
To be honest with you, Mr. Holmes, it could have been better. You see, every Tuesday he would carry out his inspection of the gardens, but it was solely to make an impression, great pretense that he cared at all. He would give out absurd orders, ignoring anyone else's opinion. He would then disappear for the rest of the week. He was what some might call a man of action. I'd say rather he was overzealous and chaotic. So after all, it was no wonder, perhaps, that he ended up like that, if you take into consideration his kind of lifestyle.
You mentioned that Mr. Dunn led a particular lifestyle.
Well, it's no secret that he enjoyed, celebrating, shall we say? He was a member of the London Smart Set. He was famous for it. That
And
he had an eye for the ladies, to put it
他很懂
mildly.
女人呢、
tell me, Mr. Hamish, do you grow the more deadly variety of plant here?
You mean insectivorous?
猪笼草
But nothing larger than that.
便宜的眼镜，好坏。刚一点，园艺人的手，未婚。
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation. Who is Miss Margaret White?
Ah, she is the young lady who studies with me. She visits here sometimes to help out with the greenhouses. In fact, she should be here today. She wanted to work at the seed house. That's the small greenhouse across from the large glass house.
Do you work here?
Yes, but part-time only, for I'm also studying botany at the University of London.
植物
You're
学，
following in your father's footsteps, then that is commendable.
Well, even if botany is not my strongest suit, there are people who say that I could be a good manager.
植物学是之前的噩梦。
We noticed that a part of the colonial collection has been cleared.
Ah, at the moment I'm just dealing with the storage room. I don't know much about the other rooms.
I imagine that your relationship with your father may have been a strained one.
Yes. I cannot say that he was a kind man, for he never listened to me at all. He forced me to work here. But now, after his death, I've been pondering it over. Perhaps he wasn't so wrong about me after all. I have to follow his path, and I have to manage Kew Gardens, and I can do it. I can be as good as any other who works here.
Ew.
Would you please tell us about Martin Hamish, the deputy director?
Well, I have to tell you that Mr. Hamish is not and has never been the deputy director of Kew Gardens. My father would not have tolerated it.
Indeed? That is most interesting. He told us that he was.
Yes, because he believes that the management should be passed down to him now that my father is dead. But in actual fact, Mr. Hamish only has
我
the
就知道
honor
这
of
个
being
哈
the
米斯
garden's
很有
longest serving
很
employee.
有可疑之
In
处啊，
fact, if we are to think logically
可
at
疑
all,
啊。
should be me who takes over the management of Kew Gardens.
Do you not have a good relationship with Mr. Hamish?
怎么可
I
能呢、
suppose so. But we have very little in common. Mr. Hamish loves his plants and Kew Gardens, and I cannot say that I share his passion.
I see. And how was his relationship with your father?
Oh, he hated my father. It was obvious. He would be furious whenever my father boasted of Kew Gardens in the newspapers or at conferences. He was convinced that my father was stealing all of the credit for himself. But my father treated Mr. Hamish in the same way as he treated anyone, dismissively. with indifference.
那个下巴那个我太在意了，一定有那个红眼，刚刚哭过，果然刮胡伤口，干净的双手。哦，所以他真的是假装在做事吗？
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again.
我想要披个外套，我觉得有点变冷。不会注意啊，来晚上会更冷。以保暖。
Palm House.
那我们应该现在要去找那个女生吧，还有那个植物。
According to this, they have light and moisture control in some parts of the building.
开暖气屋看，我这里只有开
This
窗。
sign is broken. Something heavy was dropped upon it.
我怎么走到这里都会卡住。我先去查那个花，我觉得那个花肯定有毒。竟然不能查
These plants come from all the territories of the British Empire.
这里有个管线。
According to this, they have light and moisture control in some parts of the building. Dry tropics.
哇哦，多肉植物，现在最夯的。
These flower pots are beautiful. They are intended to be used. The symbol is not from Kew Gardens. Dry tropics.
这里是迷宫吗？也太多地方可以走了吧？走出来了。
There is a smell of burning.
哦，壁炉，轮回的花盆。不一样。
The symbol is not from Kew Gardens.
这时候它是怎么剪的？防毒面具。哇，
A protective mask.
超明显的作案工具。还有哪里？
Someone set it alight, but it did not burn.
放回去。
The remains of a picture frame.
哦，
The plants were set alight fairly
这
recently.
是那个
Some have
虎
not
蝇草。
completely burned. A broom handle was half burned.
门把。
A door handle? Why would anyone throw such a thing in the fire? The door handle to the colonial collection.
他
and
是不是
that
觉得
of the
火可以
fireplace
烧掉一
are
切
made of the same material.
那个火把怎么是那个门把怎么看都烧不起来吧？完了。
Look, Holmes, this charming lady must be Miss White. She's entering the seed house.
等等，我先调查这里啊。
Colonial collection. Water lily greenhouse. Palm house. Dry tropics.
所以我们现在在这嘛。
Ventilation system. Seed house. Nursery. Director's office, cloakroom, and laboratory. A map of Kew Gardens.
太美了吧！地毯式搜索。哦
Reserve.
又是花盆，
A water tank.
有水槽，
A ventilation system. It should regulate the temperature of the staff buildings.
这好酷哦！
A ventilation system. It should regulate the temperature of the staff buildings.
关注对象，
Seed house.
Seed house
Open.
open。华生，你太积极了吧？啊，想要跟女生讲话。
These leather gloves are new and of good quality. They do not appear to have been used. Materials for college study. They belong to Albert. This place serves as Albert's office. A book about ships. Nothing at all to do with plants.
哦，还可以开窗哦。
Good day to you, miss. You have some very beautiful plants here.
Why, thank you, sir. And good day to you too. But
Oh, I do beg your pardon. My name is Dr. John.
华生，
This is my
不
good
可以
friend,
色
Mr.
色，
Sherlock
华
Holmes.
生。
I am honored to make your acquaintance, gentlemen. My name is Margaret White. Excuse me, but are you Sherlock Holmes, the great detective?
Yes, I am he.
What a pleasure to see you here at Kew Gardens. Are you working on a case?
Yes, a theft of plants that took place here a few days ago.
难得
after
看你
their
这么
most
积
recent
极
exhibition.
耶！
Oh, yes, of course. I quite forgot about that.
Oh, it's quite understandable that you might forget about the theft of the plants, miss, after the tragedy that took place here.
Yes. The director was a
Sir,
truly
sir.
good man. It is such a terrible misfortune.
Would you happen to know why part of the colonial collection was cleared?
No, I have never been there.
Do you work here?
Part-time only. I am a biology student at the London University. I attend the same classes as the son of Mr. Montague Dunn. That is how I found my chance to work here for part of my thesis, you see. It is a great honor.
How well did you know Mr. Montague Dunn?
He was a master, a great leader. I saw him almost as a spiritual father.
He had an exceptional nature?
Oh yes, indeed. He was always so active and so optimistic and very nice to me. Although he could behave harshly towards his son.
Why so?
He loved his son dearly and wanted the very best for
望
him.
子成
It
龙，
made him extremely demanding. Albert, who is naturally shy, suffered because of it.
Most of the doors in Kew Gardens are locked. Do you have a key to this room?
Oh, yes. Albert gave me a set of duplicate keys. He agreed I might carry out my studies without disturbing him. It is only temporary.
昂贵，等一下，昂贵的香水我是怎么看出来的？怎么样也是看出衣服很昂贵吧？哦，红种诶，未婚。贫穷，等一下，贫穷的贫打错了吧？文的
Thank
哦
you, miss.
色
None of
色
the 3 people who work at Kew Gardens know why half of the colonial collection was cleared. So, someone is lying. It is obvious.
还敢说谎？
From here, we are unable to see the interior of the colonial collection room.
风风。看一下，我们现在有线索，也行。我们还没找到植物，然后员工。
Poor Mr. Montague Dunn. It is so awful.
应该还要去办公室了。
Nursery.
Nursery
Locked.
lock。
Director's office.
这里又一个关注对象。该不会是这间吧？
Locked.
对啊，我没办法进去办公室。
Locked. Mr. Hamish, can you tell us who holds the keys to the locked greenhouses?
That would be Albert, Mr. Dunn's son. Yes, Albert keeps all the keys, and one can only imagine why.
What do you mean?
Well, he was never interested in Kew Gardens before. And now all of a sudden he's trying to act as if he owns the place. I think he wants to take over the management here. He'd do better to leave that to me. He has no experience.
哎呦，很摇摆
No,
耶。
none at all.
What is your opinion of Albert as a student of botany?
He's useless. I often tell him so, and I can only give him cleaning tasks. Botany is not his life's work, and his father well knew it. He was furious about it.
He was.
Oh, yes. He forced his son to work here, and he never missed an opportunity to criticize him publicly.
Are you able to elaborate on that?
Well, for example, with our last exhibition here, Mr. Dunn had Albert make a presentation speech. But then, while the lad was speaking, Mr. Dunn interrupted him, asking him difficult questions, making him look like a failure. It was with the intention of making a fool of him, Mr. Holmes.
That must have been terribly humiliating.
Yes, he was crushed, and he had to leave. Everybody was making fun of poor Albert. That is, except for Miss Margaret White, who is such a nice lady and who always takes pity on Albert.
You mentioned a Miss White. Would you tell us more about her?
She is a student who works here part-time. She is quite charming indeed.
哦，
She possesses a
女生
great
就是
talent
长得
for
好
botany.
看，然后又有
You
用。
should take a look at some of her experiments that she carried out in the laboratory. Ah, if only she were not so naive.
又一个色
Why
色，
naive.
The way she used to flutter around Mr. Montague Dunn. And he... Why, he couldn't help but be flattered by all her attention. How could an intelligent woman such as Miss White not see through his game? I can only scratch my head and wonder.
大家都想对那个女生色色。
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation.
那我应该要去找他儿子拿钥匙。天哪！性别对了，真的，性别对了，什么都对了诶。
Do you hold the keys to all of these locked doors?
Yes, you can have them. But I cannot give you the keys to the cloakroom. The employees' effects are private. I am sure you understand.
哦，我们现在拿到钥匙
Thank you,
了。
young man. We shall see you again soon. Locked.
Champagne，
Champagne. Montague Dunn had good taste.
太多香槟了吧？
French wine. A remarkable vintage. Newspapers discussing Kew Gardens.
发现一种新植物。他有说是马丁创造成功的、啊。诶，这个手套好像在哪里看过。建议上次台话，我相信你离开植物园会比较好。你似乎想说明你已经不需要我的帮助。
A photograph of Montague Dunn and Reynold Hamish.
又来了。这是什么？哦天哪！该不会要记顺序吧？干嘛？这种锁是什么特别的锁吗？首先是2，然后2，哦，我懂了，2，2，3，223344这样子哦。真的有这种锁，我是没有看过诶。哦，所以是5。保险箱哦，2、3、4，这就像保险柜左右。上次有别保险柜，当然是我是第一次看到这种的。见识比较少啊。亲爱的朋友，请允许我表达对你的 来信失望。我花了这么多钱，就是为了让你保护我，我不是让你指责我。我拥有环游世界。被举报了。你没有权利监禁我们的职务。
I suggest that we don't tell Miss Margaret White about this document.
嗯。嗯。哦，玛格丽特跟他借了很多钱哦。
What should we do next, Holmes?
Locked.
哎呦，这个超可怕的啦！我们先停在这里一下。OK， 等一下，这有点。
There was a bottle here. It left behind a trace of the substance that pervaded the laboratory.
我忽然有显现。
Several drops of the substance were spilled. Someone carried this bottle around. Several drops of the substance were spilled. Someone carried this bottle around.
Gold dust? Good heavens. What's it doing here?
The gold is almost immune to chemical attacks, so it may be a valuable auxiliary for various experiments.
But why would anyone perform such experiments in a botanical garden?
The bottle is no longer here, but it is possible to detect a faint
又要去找
scent.
狗狗了。
We need a good nose.
哦，门自己关起来了。
It appears as though the protective equipment is missing from here.
他有钥匙的只有一个人，难道真的是他？
Such masks are generally worn when dealing with toxic chemicals. Gloves, waterproof aprons, everything one might need for self-protection.
Do they grow dangerous plants here?
难道真的是他儿子？
A botany book. This student's book belongs to Albert. Chemicals. A sufficient quantity for some serious experiments.
哇塞，这实验室是不是？留声机。
Phonograph used for voice recording. Remarkable.
Yes, this is quite a modern laboratory.
哇，这好酷哦！
Martin Hamish's perception of plants. The notion of communication in the plant world has long been considered marginal, yet I remain convinced that some plants do indeed transmit chemical signals in the event of attack.
A study report by Martin Hamish.
And it seems clear from these multiple experiments that plants do respond to their environment and have a form of consciousness. Margaret White, February 1895. Report number 245.
Study report. This is a table for experiments. It resembles my own.
Only this one is kept in good order, Holmes.
哇塞，看来这儿子肯定有什么秘密呀、
Locked.
Holmes, Albert Dunn didn't give us the key to this door.
It does not matter. We will open it.
什么？这么巧，你也是用这个锁、哦？这么巧啊！哦，这个可以这样子、哦。OK。我觉得这里不能动耶。哦，我知道了，等一下。我要找一个可以合起来的。先跟家人吃饭 ，OK OK。注意保暖，路上小心。你要找一个有横线的，那肯定是这个吧。想一下，这个 那这个绿色有办法连吗？有诶、欸。哦，有难哦，后面这里。哦，有了。
Open. Martin Hamish's locker. A review on rare and exotic plants. Martin Hamish has written several pieces.
处长先生，最近在皇家植物园的情况使我重新向您提交移交皇家植物园经理的申请。
Martin Hamish studied chemistry. Interesting. Father and I, Kew Gardens. Albert's locker.
一个喜欢航
Specialist
海，
articles
一
on
个喜欢化
shipyards and
学。
ship construction. Albert Dunn has a great passion for shipbuilding and the sea. A rejection letter from the British Royal Naval College. A picture of Miss White and Albert in front of the University of London.
And they seem to get along.
原来是情侣啊！
Miss White's locker.
哇，
These jewels must be worth a small fortune.
驱
A
龙系
vanity purse. It is of high quality.
哇，钱包里面没有钱，但是钱包很贵。玛格丽特收到你的回信，我表示很惊讶，你为什么还好意思离开那么多年之后问我们要钱？哦，哇，阿尔伯特帮他，他爸爸也帮他。
Apparently, Miss White is a capable student. A draft of the letter that Miss White sent to her parents.
“你好，亲爱的父母，我十分不情愿地写下这封信。我不需要你们的帮助啊，我需要你们的帮助。我的毕业和生活费比预想的高太多了，这样下去我恐怕支持不了太久。”对。那我们先回去，然后顺便推理一下我们的证据。希望今天可以把这个案件破掉。那我们就休息。理想状态下是这样的，把这个案件结束之后，我们就先休息。我忘记推理了。对，这张破完剩一张。毒杀。 波比，
Come on, Toby. We have some work for you to do. Let us go to Kew Gardens.
狗狗。
Let us take Toby to the laboratory. He will pick up the scent of this mysterious substance.
我们要变成狗了。
Search, Toby. Search.
好啦，我就是狗命。诶，我可以开门是不是？我这么厉害？我也跑得太慢了吧？超能狗，真的。他们不跟过来吗？是什么意思？怕我一个人。
Congratulations, Toby. Now let us see what you have found. This is the bottle that was used in the laboratory. It was buried here. There is still some liquid remaining in the bottle, with gold flakes, a tiny caterpillar. Not surprising to see one in a garden, but at the bottom of a bottle.
哦，在茎上面的虫。
Brave Toby, the best nose in the British Empire.
我以为毒害的植物也可以找。那我们可能在这里要搜寻一下了，我会找一下到底是哪一个植物。啊，那个是热带植物嘛？对，就是热带植物啊。但我怎么没看到？
Water lily greenhouse.
挖的好整齐，真的。
Water lily greenhouse.
.我觉得最有可能就是那个大王花。
Poor Mr. Montague Dunn. It is so awful.
This is one of the outlets of the ventilation system.
该不会我们要沿着这个走吧？
A ventilation system. It should regulate the temperature of the staff buildings.
对，还有铅。不就这2个？哦，这个是啊。
I perceive that you are passionate about the Royal Navy.
Passionate? No, not really. I like ships, that is all.
Are you quite sure? You do not seem to be so interested in plants.
It's difficult, that's all. My future is here. It's never been about anything else.
Oh.
And yet I know that the Royal Naval College rejected your application.
Ah, you truly are as clever as they say. Yes, that's correct. And in fact, my father was strongly against the idea. He did his best to ruin my plans, although I almost did succeed. But my dreams were shattered, Mr. Holmes.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon.
都没有关联呢。这个按键。
Mr. Hamish, was someone from your family connected with Kew Gardens?
Family? No. I'm the only one with a passion for botany.
照片。
I do not think so. This photograph of
他们2个
you
是轮
and
流
your
说谎，是
father
不是？
at Kew Gardens suggests the opposite.
But you have no right to.
Do tell us more about your father.
He was, indeed, the greatest botanist of his time in the British Empire. He worked together with Montague Dunn until the end of his life. He brought me in at the age of 12.
Did he get on well with Mr. Dunn?
No, I couldn't say that. They expanded Kew Gardens together, that was all. And it was all my father's work, for Dunn always lived the high life.
So Mr. Dunn was not helping your father?
Oh, yes, he provided the financial support. And as far as he was concerned, that fulfilled his role. But the worst of it was, he declared himself as the master of Kew Gardens. Fame meant nothing to my father, so it was easy for Mr. Dunn to take all the credit.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation.
抱歉，我去开个灯。哇，这不就都写都查完了？哦哦，这里有这么多东西哦，难怪。看来我们要先回家一趟。难怪卡住了，还好有想起来这件事情。他的名字你我都知道，杰克。他的爱给我活下去的勇气，虽然我们最后没啊。对，他还是没有跟那个船长走在一起耶，就是没有在一起。哎，为什么啊？可惜了。植物学。猪笼草，刺那个念包嘛，包子，刺包菊，野灵草、黑野樱、香泽兰、委内瑞拉草、彩虹草、螺旋狸藻、蛇皮子草、土瓶草。只有前3种的毒素会对人体造成危害，所以就是猪笼草了嘛。
Here it is. That is not the one I need. That is not the one. Here it is. The Divine Syndicate is not a supplier to Kew Gardens. Besides, there is no address here. That is not the one I need.
阴魔花园。
Here it is.
1889。
Here it is. And here is the Divine Syndicate's address. Perfect. It is time to find out what they have against Montague Dunn. Let us determine just what we have found here. Let us pour liquid from the bottle into a test tube to perform an analysis. This is the bottle that we found hidden at Kew Gardens. Let us use a pipette to take a sample of the liquid and fill a test tube.
虫怎么不见了？虫还在里面。
A colorless, water-based liquid. Quite a strong floral aroma.
哦，它嘴巴不是有花香？
Holmes,
等一下，
what are you doing?
哎，
It has a bitter taste.
What if it's poisonous?
Did you ever see poison stored in enormous jars like that? Anyway, there
等一
is a
下，
doctor
而且
nearby.
虫就泡在
So
里面呢。
what do you think it is?
It is some kind of organic compound. Let us vaporize
太
the
大
liquid
胆了吧
and see what happens.
真是疯子哎！
Small colorless crystals. Colorless, tiny crystals that are soluble in water, with a floral smell and a bitter taste. Watson, could you pass me that small bottle, please?
Of course. Here you are. Holmes, do you know what it is?
Wagner's reagent. There was a label on the bottle that you passed to me.
No, Holmes, I meant the bottle that we found.
Let me add the reagent and see if there is any sediment, and then I shall tell you. I need to take a pipette and make several drops of the reagent.
Oh.
Red sediment, just as I suspected. This liquid is of organic origin. It contains some alkaloid. Most likely it is unstable, and that is why there is a quantity of gold dust to prevent contamination. This mixture is probably a fertilizer. Someone was carrying out unusual experiments in the garden's laboratory. My
哦，我还没有找到这个雕像。来，我们进去这个。刚刚有看到雕像吗？
This place is beautiful, Holmes. Its atmosphere is
Wow.
remarkably soothing.
打拳呐、
Let us find someone who could help us.
大师。
Good day to you, sir. My name is Sherlock.
I am exalting the sap. Why can you wait? From the trace of elements and moreover from the quality of the ambient geotropism it depends. Therefore, please, mind my gravitropism. Its balance, do not disturb.
大
Disturb
师。
is most definitely the word.
There. Completed is the symbiosis. Welcome you are. To introduce myself, I am the Green Grand Mystic.
The Green Grand Mystic himself.
This is me. Who am I speaking to?
We are two gentlemen who are extremely interested in the vegetation philosophy that is advocated by this establishment.
Listening to you, I am.
We visited Kew Gardens, and we found your symbols on their flower pots.
Coincidence, I am thinking. They would scavenge our refuse. It would not surprise me.
It was merely an observation.
已经看好了，我怕私下观光就不能再看了。像我们的大师纹身啊，我们的大师。哦，大师你也做化学研究哦？
We should like to take a look around, to immerse ourselves in the wisdom that emanates from here.
It is a school of anastomosis, the divine scholastic syndicate for vegetation veneration and meditation. You may say, the divine syndicate. Glory to the eukaryotic. Only true devotees, those whose hearts are
化学大师哦，原来是化学大师，那合理，那肯定合理。
to physically enter our vegetable kingdom and its wisdom, and to be permitted, you must earn it. Yes.
准备好了。
Green Grand Mystic, we are ready to become devotees and gain access to your temple.
What is the name of our Lord, our God King?
什么？我们伟大神主的名讳是什么？
Our God King's name is Treewan, Green Grand Mystic.
Oh la, good, good, I like you. Here is the holy key to the wisdom place. Holy donation can you make whenever you so wish.
Thank you so much.
I pray you to taste our fertilizer substance.
哇，开始要喝圣水，是阿林斯吗？
But of course.
Raw sap, it is called. It is near the entrance.
Well, we will leave you to your meditation.
大师您继续。我看到了。
Fragments of a flower pot. It fell down here.
大师，你的花盆为什么盖起来啦？大师，
The Kew Gardens symbol.
你们还交换花盆呢？玩这招啊！
A fragment of a flower pot. The list of plant friends and benefactors, lawyers, well-known manufacturers, political leaders.
这里怎么有一个怪人？
This door is locked, but I can try to open it.
等等，你没有看到那个？哇，又是这种的。 OK， 等下。嗯。只有这边合吗？OK，
This must be Trewan, the Divine Syndicate's god.
是另外一个大师。哇，这是 Apex 吗？
Osmosis and photosynthesis.
他疯了，又是这个，怪怪的。又哦天哪！
They are raised as food for certain plants. Let's take them.
我最怕这个，吓死我！我以为是大师走过来。哦
A tropical plant, nothing of interest. A tropical plant, nothing of interest.
沙漠玫瑰长这样，你确定？
These 3 plants are identical to the ones shown at the exhibition.
哇塞！
I shall
哦
take them.
右边那个好惊人哦！他把3个有毒植物都带在身上了。你看，大泽花。
A tropical plant, nothing of interest. A tropical plant, nothing of interest.
他怎么带的？捕蝇草，哎呦，大花
A
草
tropical，plant, nothing of interest.
它很特别吧？它超特别的。
A tropical plant, nothing of interest.
等一下，我打喷嚏。
That would be enough to perform the most difficult of chemical experiments.
哇，他真的是化学大师哎！
This substance is an alkaloid, the same as in the bottle we found in the bushes at Kew Gardens. This cabinet is full of chemicals. They are the same as the ones we found in the laboratory at Kew Gardens.
“勇气”，想梦。
A vast amount
哦，
of opium.
鸦片，原来鸦片长这样。 那字念琴吗？琴中花鸟，比音，是这样念吗？
These instruments are used for smoking opium.
哦，有吸鸦片哦。那这个放在这里一直煮，真的没问题啊，没超危险。哦，这不能敲。大师啊！
Do you have friends at Kew Gardens?
None. Not worthy there.
可是你有花盆呢？不是啊，选错了。
None. Not worthy there.
Nevertheless, we have seen Kew Gardens flower pots in your yard. How could they happen to be there?
What? Our sacred place you permitted yourself
这
to
这
search?
是亵渎神明！我刚还
Oh,
开锁了
really
呢
now.。There was a theft of plants at Kew Gardens a matter of days ago, and we believe the pots we found here may be connected with it. Please tell us, were you involved?
No. Those plants were ours. They had stolen them from us.
How so?
Their director, Dump, I believe.
Done.
Yes, that's what I said. He borrowed from us 3 of our sisters for the exhibition at his green fly-infested gardens. But he never gave them back to us. Excuses and imbecility.
那就是偷了嘛？
Saved them.
说什么
I
救
see.
回来啊？
So, if you stole those rare plants from them, then it means... Ah, I get it. Bravo, Holmes. I think the case is solved.
No, we did not steal.
我们在
saved.
营救。
Well, as a matter of fact, we were unable to find our 3 plants.
I beg your pardon. And yet you took all of the exotic plants from the stand.
They had disappeared. It was the least we could do. They stole our sisters, and so we stole theirs.
Well, we will leave you to your meditation.
所以是为什么不是这个啊？对啊，不就是这个吗？哦，他们去发现少了才 OK。圣辛迪加偷走了所有的那些致命植物。 这里都没有关系。
Perfect, Watson. We can begin our experiment.
要回去用毛毛虫做实验了。这所有都是单选项哎。可是致命植物，我们刚刚不是在那里有发现吗？就是那个猪笼草那个、啊。花生。
This green grand mystic fellow seems rather suspicious, Holmes. What
现
should
在
we do next, Holmes?
现在你比较可以啦。
I imagine that one of these plants would be capable of releasing a toxic vapor. I need to find out exactly how it could be done. I shall begin now. Watson, if you are at all optimistic to have dinner this evening, then I'd recommend that you put on the gas mask.
我们先从这个，这样最好可以哦。
How interesting. What a strong and effective
刚刚那个是怎样？
mechanism. I find the behavior of predators utterly fascinating.
那个，哦，中间这个很凶哎。
A carnivorous plant. This is a strange and unusual plant. A prickly plant.
哦，会合起来。这个是什么？这个我还真没看过
This
哎。
plant becomes inactive after being drenched with alkaloid.
赤包菊。哎呦，
This plant becomes inactive after being drenched with alkaloid.
哦，
It appears to open after being soaked with alkaloid.
那就是这个了吗？什么意思？耶！
It closed again. I believe I saw a small
我也
cloud
看
of
到了。
gas. I wonder what secrets this plant is hiding. Perhaps if we agitate it to a greater extent whilst it is opened, it will reveal a little more. I am interested in what might occur if the prickly plant should shoot at it. It appears to have fallen inactive after being disturbed. My word! It shot a spike at me after I stabbed it with a pin.
哇
I imagine
感觉
that
超可
its
怕哎。
reaction would be ferocious if I increased the strength of my attack. My word! It shot a spike at me.
什么意思？我现在还有什么事情可以做吗？是更大力。
My word! No reaction.
没有反应了。啊，我知
It
道了。
appears to open after being soaked with alkaloid. This plant seems to have had no reaction from the caterpillars.
哦，我不知道了。
Toxic gas with spores. Extraordinary.
哦，莫名其妙成功了。
The plants would be capable of killing only if they were directly next to the victim and stimulated at
我本来
precisely
想
the
说，
right
因为它会
moment.
吃虫，所以我先把
Let
它
us
放在
take
最
our
旁边而已。
caterpillars to the colonial collection room. We may see things more clearly there.
It is
Lucky.
too early, Watson. Our suspects will be there. Let us investigate Kew Gardens one more time and ask some questions.
绝对是跟这个植物有关嘛。他选错了吗？这是什么？哦，这个啦。
Are you aware of the Divine Syndicate?
The Divine what? Is this a joke?
No, I am quite serious.
What a ridiculous name. Anyway, I have never heard of this syndicate.
哦，他没有
Can
听
you
过。
tell me if you saw Mr. Montague Dunn on the day of his death?
Yes, of course. I met him, and we went to see Albert, his son, at around 9:30. He appeared quite calm.
What were you doing on the morning of the accident?
After paying multiple visits to Albert, I had a little talk with Miss White. Then I returned to my desk to complete some paperwork. Suddenly I observed that Mr. Dunn was not feeling well, so I ran immediately to fetch Albert. I clearly remember that it was around 10:30, for I was late that morning.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation. Tell me, have you ever heard of the Divine Syndicate?
No, I cannot say that I have.
Your father's death does seem highly suspicious. What were your movements here on that day?
Suspicious. Well, I was working in the seed house, taking care of Lysa something, or Lear Pontus, or... No, wait. Ah, these Latin names. And I spent so many hours trying to memorize them.
Did you see your father that day?
Yes, he came here with Mr. Hamish for his weekly visit. There was nothing unusual about that.
And then?
Nothing. They stepped out to the
Oh.
backyard. It was perhaps 20 minutes before 10 o'clock. Then about 10 minutes later, I saw my father heading for the dry tropics room while Mr. Hamish returned here.
And Mr. Hamish and Miss White, what were they both doing that morning?
Mr. Hamish visited me a couple of times. I also saw him returning from talking with Miss White, and that was at 10 minutes past 10. But then he ran back here to me to tell me that my father was feeling unwell. We hurried across to the water lily room, and I found my father lying dead on the floor. Oh my God.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon.
Oh, 哦，这里我们都还没有检查哎。吓死我！这里还好不是种什么怪怪的东西。今天新闻的画面就类似像这样子。
These young plants must be delicate if they are kept in the nursery. A thesis written by Martin Hamish. A glasses case. It is empty. This area serves as Martin Hamish's office. This poster is for an exhibition that Martin Hamish was directing, but it had nothing to do with Kew Gardens. This certificate belongs to Martin Hamish. He won a horticultural competition. We can see the interior of the Colonial Collection Room from this window.
Oh.
A master's degree diploma. It belongs to Martin Hamish. An award presented to Martin Hamish for Best Grower of the Year.
他很多奖项。哦，找到雕像了。
I am curious if the marble that we found... Here it is. The marble fragment that we found in the Colonial Collection Room is what they have in common. It is a bust of Montague Dunn.
很可疑哦。
The seeds of plant species are stored here.
What should we do next, Holmes?
The Divine Syndicate. Does that name mean anything to you, by any chance?
Not at all.
又来了，又大家都没听过。
Can you tell me what Mr. Dunn was doing upon the day of his death?
I can, but there is nothing very special to say. I was in the laboratory when I saw Mr. Dunn heading towards me. Tuesday is the day of his weekly visit. It was supposed to be at 9, but he was 10 minutes late, as usual.
And then?
Well, he came in to say good morning. Then I saw him spend 2 or 3 minutes by the plants outside the laboratory. After that, he ran out in the direction of the nursery, where Mr. Hamish was working. He was always in a rush during the inspection, you see. I would pity anyone who stood in his way.
And that was the last time you saw him?
Yes. I stayed in the laboratory until 20
哦，
minutes
他
to
说
11,
谎。
when I heard the cries of Albert and Mr. Hamish from the large glass house.
I joined them as soon as I could, for I knew that something must be very wrong.
What exactly were you doing in the laboratory?
I was recording an experiment for my thesis. I only stopped my work once when Mr. Hamish visited me briefly around 10 o'clock.
You say you were recording an experiment when the tragedy occurred. Might I listen to the roll?
Certainly. Please do. You will find it in the laboratory. It is number 320.
Thank you, miss.
问题来了。
Everyone has gone, Holmes. The way is clear.
还有。
When Montague Dunn was standing close by the plants, the caterpillars were released and caused the deadly spores to activate. Panicking, and likely already half asphyxiated, Montague Dunn started back and knocked over the bust. He rushed to the door, but it was locked. He had to force it open with his shoulder. We already know the outcome. Montague Dunn collapsed and died not far from the pool. Well, it is time to perform our experiment on the ventilation system. The caterpillars could only fall from the ventilation duct. Our caterpillars are in place.
华生，你要站在那里
the
吗？
ventilation system so that they fall down. Watson, stay here and observe.
All right, Holmes.
哦，没事。
The smell is strong. It is a detergent.
我要往外。这边的。他这里就不。
This is one of the outlets of the ventilation system.
哦。
The power is on. The engine cannot be started
为什么有这个
whilst
惊
the
叹号啊？
transmission is active. The engine has started. The power is on. The ventilation system is working. What?
Now we need to see if we can activate the fans from Mr. Hamish's and Albert's space.
我怎么看他？开了。所以我们要先去他房间，是不是？唱歌是29号啦，不是今天啦。
We can see the interior of the Colonial Collection Room from this window.
花生在那里，激活。
This ventilation fan is working. Let us see if I can activate the other one.
还有另外一个，不是他们联手咯。
From here, we are unable to see the interior of the Colonial Collection Room. Perfect. Now I just need to find Watson to check the result.
还好不用再走回去了。
It works perfectly, Holmes.
哎呀，
Bravo. Now, if you could just help me to get rid of these.
怎么好像变大只了？
Perfect. Now we know how the murder of Montague Dunn was
不
carried
是，
out.
也不用
by
他站在下
activating
面
both
吧？
Albert's and
掉地板上
Mr.
不就知道了？
Hamish's fans.
But only from Mr. Hamish's workplace would it be possible to see when Montague Dunn entered the Colonial Collection Room. What should we do next, Holmes? Let's go to Scotland Yard.
怎么这么突然？完了，又走错边了。他去哪里了？他不见了。哦，可以联系。闹得我都晕了。哎，不过应该快结束了。
Inspector, I believe that Martin Hamish is guilty of the murder of Montague Dunn.
Aha! I knew it. I'll send the lads around to arrest him.
Very good. I shall wait to hear from you.
一段时间后，不过如果真的是他的话，也太好猜了吧！我一开始猜就是他。好久。
Inspector, I came here as quickly as I could.
Martin Hamish is in the large glass house. There's no need to hurry.
另外，我们不能一起过来吗？
Holmes, my God!
Yes, we found him.
What the?
Our messing around with the ventilation system didn't go unnoticed. Mr. Hamish realized that we knew.
Inspector, could you arrange the body, please? I should like to examine it.
果然没有这么简，走开，华生，走开，华生。
The mark around the neck is very visible. He died instantly.
生活就像是地狱，我发现自己已经承受不了了。正恩他就该去死，我无法原谅自己犯下如此的罪行。
Holmes, his left shoe is unique. This anomaly is often a characteristic of...
A club foot. Bravo, Watson. That is the key element of this case.
她就是那个女生吧？
Something about this rings very oddly.
Why do you say that, Mr. Holmes?
Why? Because of Mr. Hamish's club foot. Oh, I deserve to be kicked from here to Charing Cross. I should have noticed it.
But, Mr. Holmes, I can't see why.
No, I don't suppose you do. You must recall that Mr. Dunn was locked inside the Colonial Collection Room by the murderer. If it was Mr. Hamish, he would have had to run up to his workplace to trigger the fan situated above it, taking into consideration the condition of his foot.
Well, it is still possible.
Perhaps, but it is rather strange that such a person as Mr. Hamish decided to base his plan on the speed of his gait.
You mean to say that somebody helped him?
So the suicide is questionable?
Correct. Mr. Hamish accuses only himself in his letter, and so the investigation stops.
Possibly an accomplice, then? That idea had not occurred to me, Mr. Holmes.
I have another idea, Inspector. Thanks to the testimony that we have collected, we are able to rebuild the events as they took place that day.
With a timeline, such as we did in the Jack the Ripper case.
Precisely.
The map at the entrance of Kew Gardens should help us with our timeline.
Let us analyze the facts
哇塞，天
and
哪！
so that we may recreate the events of that morning.
等等，我先停在这里一下。来，马丁·汤姆 但是马丁他们的阿尔伯特9:30。哦，9:40的时候，哈米斯对9:50的时候他才回去嘛，然后这样子嘛。马丁和哈米斯与怀特小姐在10点进行交谈。然后到10:40，那这里他就说谎了吗？哇塞，这个好酷！这时候他就毒死了，他怎么可能会看到？哦，他是看。
Let us summarize. Montague Dunn was poisoned inside the Colonial
哦，
Collection.
他是看到他跟他
He
儿子了。
forced
哦，
open the door,
我记错
which
了。
means that someone locked him inside there at 10:20. Martin Hamish was last seen at 10:10. This means that he has approximately 10 minutes to lock the door of the Colonial Collection Room. Given that he was club-footed, it is doubtful. Albert also has 10 minutes to lock the door of the Colonial Collection Room, which is quite enough time. Miss White was last seen at 10 o'clock, which means that she had approximately 20 minutes to lock the door. More than enough time. Perfect, Watson. Now, let us ascertain who assisted Martin Hamish in killing Montague Dunn.
"竟然跟这个都没有关系哦。阿尔伯特不擅长植物学，所以他可能并不知道如何释放毒素。他一定知道了，觉得他应该也知道。那这也不是很奇怪啊？为什么他会没有？他一定有啊！ 有一个独制作，独制作这个一定错嘛？哦，这个是一定的，那一定是这边吗？所以就是这3个结果嘛。我看一下，我是猜那个女生的。你怎么没有第5章的？第5章有1、2、4，有4个结局。哦，上面还有阿尔伯特。这很奇怪。架上。我会凑不出来那个字。对，应该是要选怀特有时间作案。这个怀特肯定有时间啊！如果说20分钟没时间的话，那这里一定那个。然后我刚刚看了一下，这3个没有错了，我刚刚看错了，所以我都已经导出来了。那我肯定是选怀特啊，因为另外一个通风孔是在他的那边嘛，是他待的那边呢、啊。他的确不擅长嘛。因为他觉得自己没办法从证人那里得到好处。
But Holmes, how can you be certain that we'll find Miss White here?
It is obvious, Watson. Just use your brain.
I am using it. I do use it.
Now that the rope has tightened around Martin Hamish, Miss White must act to erase all traces of her implication.
那他如果出现的话，就一定是
After the
他
suicide of her
了。
accomplice, there is one final trace remaining: the deadly plants of the Divine Syndicate. She will be there.
Very good. Shall we go?
Just one moment. Now listen to me, Watson. I shall see her alone. You will conceal yourself behind her, quietly.
Whatever are you planning?
Nothing spectacular. The impulses of women have always been a mystery to me. But she is a bold one, and so we must be cautious.
All right. You can count on me, Holmes.
Mr. Holmes, good day to you.
You do not seem surprised, Miss White.
Well, I was expecting you.
Not for too long, I believe. So please tell me, as it is still unclear, who planned the murder?
啊，你不是说你不知道这里？
You were wrong, Mr. Holmes.
It was Martin Hamish, then. You managed to convince him to take on a more prominent role.
You could not be further from the truth.
You think that you can fool me?
You don't care what I think.
It is difficult to care about someone who is capable of pushing a man to his suicide. It is over, Miss White. The police will be here any minute.
Over, perhaps. One moment you were here, and the next, you were on the other side.
The other side? No! Stop!
那个是什么？
I beg you not to do this, Miss White.
Don't come any closer.
读哦。
Please remain calm. We can help you.
Not one step further. Don't try to stop me.
Stop this foolishness. You cannot truly want to die.
No, it's too late.
Ah. 这么快哦！
This is tragic, Holmes.
Are you able to do anything?
好快！我才刚对到，他就喝下去了。
Has been fulgurating. Her heart
对，我
stopped
对到而已，我
instantly,
没有按下去
poor。child.
啊，再一次啊，再一次！救他，救他！我们要救他，原因就是把他救回来了。我也是没有想到这么突然的。为什么？怎么是这种大脸？
But Holmes, how can you be certain that we'll find Miss White here?
It is obvious, Watson. Just use your brain.
I am using it. I do use it.
Now that the rope has tightened around Martin Hamish, Miss White must act to erase all traces of her implication. After the suicide of her accomplice, there is one final trace remaining: the deadly plants of the Divine Syndicate. She will be there.
Very good. Shall we go?
Just one moment. Now listen to me, Watson. I shall see her alone. You will conceal yourself behind her, quietly.
Whatever are you planning?
Nothing spectacular. The impulses of women have always been a mystery to me. But she is a bold one, and so we must be cautious.
All right. You can count on me, Holmes.
Mr. Holmes, good day to you.
You do not seem surprised, Miss White.
Well, I was expecting you.
Not for too long, I believe. So please tell me, as it is still unclear, who planned the murder? Was it you?
You were wrong, Mr. Holmes.
It was Martin Hamish, then. You managed to convince him to take on a more prominent role.
You could not be further from the truth.
You think that you can fool me?
You don't care what I think.
It is difficult to care about someone who is capable of pushing a man to his suicide. It is over, Miss White. The police will be here any minute.
Over, perhaps. One moment you
我刚刚本来一开始以为他是捏着一只虫或者是什么
are
东
on
西
the
嘞
other side.
毒
The other side.
毒蝎之类的。
Stop! I beg you not to do this, Miss White.
Don't come any closer.
Please remain calm. We can help you.
Not one step further. Don't try to stop me.
Stop this foolishness. You cannot truly want to die.
No, it's too late.
Oh
Well
man.
done, Watson. She was not faking.
Miss White, you have no right to take your own life.
Dr. Watson? Did you just save me? Or worse?
OK 啦。他应该就是的啦。还是有救对啊，他的确是要负责啦，不可能这样子大家都赔进去。我不知道我如果在这边关掉的话，它会算存到这里吗？因为我看一下，按完前面那边就，这里应该可以关掉。